what happened to my granddaughter was uncalled for, you know. The system failed because this girl, this young lady that, you know, they claim that they can't do no, telling us anything about the young lady. You know, my thing was the little young girl was bullied in school. My daughter called the school like 2 weeks in advance about the same girl, and the school did anything about it. So this ain't like this just happened yesterday. You know, this was going on like 2 weeks before it happened. So, you know, these are the things that they don't tell you. Just like the night they walked off the stage, went about their business. I mean, these are the kind of things that we was getting ever since the death. Like right now, you know, I don't understand. You could talk about everything else, but a child's life was took it. What's more important to talk about?
I'm Kyle Jones with the ABC station in Savannah, and you did a network interview with the ABC station.
Yes, I did.
And in that interview, you were saying you felt like they were sweeping things under the rug.
Well, I feel like, I mean, for the whole system not to give us an answer, I mean, anybody would want to know what went on with their granddaughter. I mean, once you send your child to school, you know, you expect for your child to come back home. So if the child don't come back home and get on the school bus, that means that the school is responsible for whatever went between getting on the bus and not coming home.
Is it true that you and your daughter didn't hear about this meeting until you saw it on the news?
Nah, we ain't heard nothing about this meeting. We heard it through friends and people calling the phone and say, you know, they got a board meeting tonight. You know what I'm saying? We just found out like probably about 1 o'clock today.
Did has the superintendent or anyone from the district?
Nobody.
So what have you been told? What do you know now as it relates to what happened to your granddaughter?
Nothing. They haven't told us anything. They keep saying, like, they've been on the news, I think it was this morning, that they had a board meeting concerning Raniya Wright's death. But as you see, they didn't discuss it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't tell us anything about it. I mean, so, you know, this one more thing that they do, you know? But I feel like they trying to make my granddaughter out of the villain when she ain't here. I feel like the girl that's responsible for it, they should be talking about that mainly. You know? Talk about that. Talk about the bullying. Talk about 2 weeks prior to this happening. Let's talk about that. Those are the things that I think that they should come up with instead of always talk about Raniya. I heard Raniya this and that. Talk about the girl, or talk about the person that could avoid this from happening.
So
like the school teacher.
So everything you've heard that has happened, was that from other students who were in the classroom at the time?
Right. It was from other students that was in the class at the time.
Why do you think that they are like holding back information?
Because I really feel like they know the answer, but I really feel like they're looking for a little loophole to find out where we ain't gonna be responsible for it, or the school system not gonna be responsible for it. I think that's what's happening. I think they don't have answers. They know the answers, but they don't want to come up with the answers.
Has the sheriff's office contacted?
Never. Nobody.
Have they mentioned anything, I don't know, can you speak to this, about any prior medical issues that were?
Well, you know, they were saying she might have had aneurysm and all kind of stuff. My granddaughter played basketball. You know what I'm saying? She just got through playing basketball. My thing is something had to trigger it. A fight triggered it. Whatever happened in the classroom triggered it. If she did have a sickness or whatever that we didn't know anything about. She got her 6 months checked up. Doctors ain't never told us anything, you know. But that is another thing that's floating in the air that just part of covering it up. You know, and instead of just come out and tell the truth. Just deal with it. Just deal with it. They slipped. The system slipped. Just deal with it. It took a death for you to realize that the system is broken. It shouldn't have took a death. When my daughter was calling the school, letting them know that she was being bullied, you know what I'm saying? Something should have been done then. Not later on after we already buried her. Now nobody ain't got no answer for anything.
There's a state senator, Margie Bright Matthews, who put out kind of a conflicting story of what happened that day.
And she came right back.
Yeah.
Two press conferences after that and apologizing.
You feel that was irresponsible?
Oh, that has been, I don't understand even where that came from.
Yeah.
How you got so much information and we don't. You know, we was waiting for the autopsy to come back. You know what I'm saying? To find out what's going on, you know, because they want to put it on something else. But my thing is, I don't know where she get her information from, but she came back 2 days later, or a day later, and apologized for what she said. I mean, it should have never been said.
I know your family has an attorney. What is your plan now going forward?
We want justice for Raniya. We want justice for her. I mean, as we could see, she never was a bad child. You know, she was just an easy child to raise. We just want justice for her. We want the next kid, you know, to be safe in school. We don't want their parents to not see them that evening, you know, waiting for them to come home and they don't show up, you know. But my key thing is, let's talk about the person and the people who caused this incident to happen.
What do you have to say about that? Kind of speak to that a little
I feel like instead of battling my granddaughter, let's talk about some of that. Let's bring that out. Who is this girl? I mean, how many times she been in trouble? How many schools she went to? How long she was a bully? I mean,
Did you all know her prior to the incident?
I don't know the girl. I don't know the young girl, but my daughter know of her. You know what I'm saying? That's why people talking. But my granddaughter come home many days talking about this girl. Many days. And the school system knowed about it.
Is there like a paper trail of that?
There's a paper trail all the way.
So there were complaints that were filed
with
the school district or at the school level?
Not filed. She would call the school, talk to the homeroom teacher, talk to the what you call it? The school teacher and the principal. Yeah, she would talk to both of them, and nothing never was done. My granddaughter didn't even wanted to go to school because of the bullying.
They never separated the two of them, or.
My thing is, I want to know where the teacher was. If the teacher was there, why didn't she stop it? If she was there, you know, I truly don't believe she was there. But that's just another thing. That's why we got the investigation for the lawyer that she got, checking it and all that. Because we got statements from other kids saying that she wasn't there. So we just waiting until we finish up our investigation.
Do you all have any idea of what kind of, or if any, legal action will be taken?
We hope so. We hope that she didn't die in vain. We hope that somebody should be liable for it. I mean, could have been your kid, could be your kid, could be your kid, you know? We just hope that for her death, that we feel like other parents should realize that it could be their kid. So if you don't want it to be your kid, you need to get on the ball.
How's your family doing right now?
Oh, we doing all right. We take it one day at a time. You know, she was a Christian girl. You know, she was 5 years old. She was up in the church, you know, being an usher, the only little 5-year-old up in the whole church. When grown people marching, she right in the middle. So we know she was very Christian. She loved church. She loved to go to church. I mean, that part we feel better on, knowing that she's somewhere better. That's the way we looking at it. But she is missed by her family. Yeah. I said enough?
Perfectly.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
Could you say and spell could you say and spell your first and last name one more time? I don't know if I was recording when you said
Well, Erinewright.
Okay.
Wright.
I found something very interesting, and it's about brain injuries, and I believe it's the same brain injury that they're claiming that the little girl had. But I just think it's very interesting, and I think y'all should check a look. And I hope y'all have a good one.
And its nerve cells are so fragile, sudden rapid movements of the head can cause injuries. During one such injury, called coup contre coup or acceleration-deceleration injury, the brain bounces back and forth against the bony interior wall of the skull. In high-speed coup contre coup injuries, the impact may be violent enough to cause swelling and bruising of the brain tissue, called a contusion. However, in cases involving low-speed coup contre coup injuries, the resulting damage may not be visible to the naked eye. Nerve cells are so fragile, sudden rapid movements of the head can cause injuries. During one such injury, called coup contre coup or acceleration-deceleration injury, the brain bounces back and forth against the bony interior wall of the skull. In high-speed coup contre coup injuries, the impact may be violent enough to cause swelling and bruising of the brain tissue, called a contusion. However, in cases involving low-speed coup contre coup injuries, the resulting damage may not be visible to the naked eye. As the brain moves back and forth within the skull, areas of varying density in the brain slide over each other at different speeds. Axons crossing these junctions experience tremendous shearing forces, causing them to stretch and tear from the cell body. This event is called axonal shearing, or diffuse axonal injury. Brain damage can continue to occur for hours or days after the initial injury. Damage to the axons can lead to a breakdown of communication among neurons in the brain. The torn axons quickly degenerate, releasing toxic levels of chemicals called neurotransmitters into the extracellular space. In turn, many of the surrounding neurons begin to die over the next 24 to 48 hours, worsening the initial effects of the injury. Mild to moderate cases of diffuse axonal injury, or D.
Now, don't that sound about like what happened? What do y'all think?
Or DAI may result in symptoms such as brief loss of consciousness, impaired long-term memory, reduced problem-solving ability, lower social inhibition, and problems with attention and perception. Severe cases of diffuse axonal injury may result in coma or a persistent vegetative state. In the United States, over 1 million cases of mild traumatic brain injuries, including diffuse axonal injury, are reported each year. Of this number, over 300,000 patients suffer long-term effects from the damage. Computed tomography, or CT, and magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, are tests that can be performed to check for mild traumatic brain injury. The results of these tests usually show a normal reading.
Or cause death. And like CJ always say, knowledge is power.